Welcome to Team Overloaded, a history. This is going to be a brief tour through the annals of Team Overloaded history. So, without further ado, we begin. So, I'm just going on the YouTube up on my phone to look at the Team Overloaded videos. Team Overloaded were founded originally on the 2nd of February 2013, but they didn't make videos for a while. I'm not quite sure why that was. Lack of enthusiasm, I guess, just not really being ready. The first ever video was Let's Blend a Shield. Let's Blend a Shield, Part 1 to be precise. This video was released on the 31st of May 2013 and featured the modelling of a shield in Blender. At present it has 4 likes and 1 dislike. Since then, the channel has changed very much, but there's been several things that have always remained the same. There have only ever been 3 of us who've really appeared in the videos much. RJ, Vincent, and Manhattan. I am Manhattan. You can tell that from my voice because I speak differently than the other two. But RJ has a very strong Scottish accent and he walked out on us. But we'll be going on to that later when we look at the middle videos. The next videos were less interesting. There was RJ's review of Flare, which was a pretty decent video. The other Let's Blends, there were 4 of those. And there's Tech It with RJ. Tech It with RJ, Part 1, was Omni Shambles, really. It didn't really work all that well. It was released on the 21st of June, and despite getting no dislikes, it was re-uploaded about 3 or 4 times. Tech with RJ continued, and then a new, shorter series where Vincent reviewed Scratch. Not sure what went through his mind when he thought about doing that series, but it didn't work too badly, and we got a good number of views, about 160 from that series. He never did another review. I would like to see another review from Vincent. We then move on to the second Let's Blend, which was a bow. This is the least popular of the 3 Let's Blends, I'm not going to lie. It's not bad, it's actually probably better than the first, but it was just viewed as less popular, just didn't quite get the views, and I think it deserved more views. It was very well done, and I particularly like the physics being used to generate the bow animation. We then have Take It With RJ Part 3, and at this point we're getting into an era which I call the early videos. It was quite an embryonic state, it was very experimental. Well, RJ and Vincent were. I hadn't appeared on the scene yet. That's a fair bit later on, actually. Around this time, it was, I believe, August now at this point. Yeah, we're talking, no, July. It wasn't August yet, we did a lot of stuff in June. But we're still heading to July. Videos are becoming more regular because we're heading on to summer break, you have to remember. And obviously we still are at school. Secondary school here in England, and we just went, we sort of spent quite a bit of time on our work because, I don't know, certainly me and Vincent are very academically minded, not so much RJ, but me and Vincent very academically minded, good grades, so we always worked hard. And so, we saw more videos made during the summer, and it was generally at times when we had a lot of break. I mean, we're not making many videos now because, you know, we're really starting to head up into the GCSE exams. So they're in the summer for us, and obviously they're very important. You've got to make sure you get your A stars in. I want probably 7 or 8 in total. That'll be good enough. But I've got to really work hard for that and make sure I do get those A stars. That is why our schedule has varied over the years, because that's an important part of the history, the fact that our schedule does vary. At times we produce loads, and at other times we produce none. We're like some sort of abstract artist from the 19th century who went through all these phases. But I wouldn't know because I didn't take art GCSE, and I probably never would. We now move on to the one video which is the most popular well, the most surprisingly popular on the channel was released on the 2nd of July 2013, and its name is Pause Game in Scratch. Pause Game in Scratch was a tutorial on how to pause a game in Scratch. And the other Scratch games, particularly Buttons and Making a Toolbar, currently stand on 48 and 25 views. Pause Game, 732 views. Bit of a disparity there. We then move on to the first real game series. Sure, we've got Take It With RJ, but I don't know, it never felt like a game. It felt more like a chore, to be honest. RJ never really had a flair for presenting games. So Vincent's Let's Play was Half-Life. And Half-Life ended up being, well, it was a poor series. I mean, you know, I quite liked it at the time, at least the first episode. But the numbers don't lie, and it got 2 dislikes and no likes the first part, and the second part got 1 like and 3 dislikes. So yeah, and they were both very laggy and very pixelated. They were recorded on a computer, which was fit for a court jester, really. We then move on to building the compound. Just a brief series on RJ. It's basically a first-person build, but it was just so laggy that it was just a bit boring. He'd just come back from Beef Herder, or whatever that festival's called, and he just returned. Now, to be honest, if we'd been now, what we'd have probably done is we'd probably have quickly set up a Twitch channel. We'd have quickly uploaded some sort of hastily made video saying that we'll start streaming. Get your follows in now, and you'll be emailed when we stream, or we'll upload a video, and then just make the compound in a stream about a week later. But we haven't really discussed streaming. It's not something we plan to do in the near future. We may well move into it in the far future. So we move forward into the musket video. This is one of the best videos made, as evidenced by the fact it has 12 likes and, wait for this, 1,194 views. That is pretty much, I mean, we've only had 15,000 views in total, so that's basically 1 in 12, 1 in 13 views on the channel, about that sort of number. Bit of maths live on the video for you there. We then move on to Take It With RJ number 6. This was a video that I nagged him about quite a bit because he had to re-upload it 3 or 4 times because the sound didn't work the first time, it didn't work the second time, and I think this was the beginning of the end for RJ, really. His videos were starting to really go downhill, lower quality, not really putting in the care anymore. Well, he never really did, but at first we just thought it was because he was a bit of a scrub. Now we know he wasn't scrubbing anything while he was doing the videos, he was just rubbish. A bit more musket goodness, and then one of the series which I always think got a bit underrated, which is RJ's Pixel Art. RJ's Pixel Art was where we basically recorded a video showing some pixel art. And I rather like it. He didn't make much use of it. I'd have liked to have seen him edit his texture pack, edit his pictures, which would be the logos, and he could have used them in the actual series, but he never did that. Probably because I never suggested it to him at the time, despite sitting next to him in quite a few classes. But it was also getting into mid-July, so we weren't exactly getting the chance to meet up. He lives a very long way away because of the fact that the school has, well, it takes in everyone from everywhere on Earth, seemingly. And then we move on to Let's Learn Python. Let's Learn Python was a short but sweet series. There were 2 videos and they were really rather excellent, I think. Well, they featured just the basics of Python. I mean, we I know a bit more about it now. Vincent obviously knows a lot about it. He still knows a lot about it. Certainly more than RJ. Well, not more than RJ, but certainly more than RJ made up out in this videos. But then again, RJ's not really a Python programmer as much as he's just a programmer. I think he knows every programming language, to be quite frank. He's a polylinguist when it comes to programming. There was also Let's Blend a Musket, which was a very much a continuing series. There were all kinds of videos in Let's Blend a Musket. We move on to RJ's pixel art again, where we made the Jabberwock Industries company motto. To me, that doesn't imply an image. Like, you know, if my mottos aren't in images, not that I have many mantras or mottos, but he made up this brilliant motto, magic, science, harmony. He never really got to harmony in his videos. I'd like to see what he would have done with that. Subsequently, we see another re-uploaded TechVorJ video uploaded for the second time. We've deleted the original video, so you couldn't go back and watch the soundless ones, but these were really getting poor view counts. I mean, if we just look at some of the view counts for these videos at this time. RJ's pixel art, 45 and 34 views, pretty low at this point. I mean, we were probably expecting about 50 at this point for a typical video. Let's Learn Python, 112. A lot more of these have come more recently, of course. We have Let's Blend a Musket, which is now 300 views. It's mental how much how popular that was. I'm telling you, I'd say about a quarter of our channel views have come from the Let's Blends alone. We then have, obviously, the second pixel art, 34 views, and then the upload of TechVorJ, 20 views. So it really wasn't all that popular. TechVorJ, it was a bit of a bloated figure, it needed to really be cut off and what's the word I'm looking for? Amputated. That's what it is. I'm no doctor, so I don't always talk about amputation, which is why it took me a bit longer to realise it. We then have my first appearance on the channel. I'd been on it occasionally, doing like bits and bobs, but never really anything too serious. And it's a video. I think the thing about me on the channel is, with every video I've got better. With every video I've got better on Team Overload it. But really, Let's Blend, or Learning Blender I should say, although it was more Let's Blend rubbish, never really caught on. I look at it occasionally and my opinions of it have sort of changed. First I thought it was really good, at second I thought it was really awful, and now I realise it wasn't bad for a first attempt, but it was a first attempt, and so it was bad. It really didn't come close to the quality standards I have now. I mean, it was released on the 26th of July 2013, so it was a very much a different person to how I am now, different outlook on life, so I would expect to make a different type of video to how I would make one now. Moving on, we have Let's Blend a Musket Part 4. 160, less popular than Learning Blender, I don't know why. And then we just have a series of mostly series continuations. Couple of new TechVorJs. Number 9 of TechVorJ, which was a good video, and you can tell because it has a massive view jump. It's about 80 views. And also Let's Blend a Musket Part 5, which was also a very good video. I was quite fond of that one. But it was the end of an era, that video. It was the last ever Let's Blend, really, properly. I mean, he's made like sort of, I guess, you could call them second Let's Blends, but never anything too... But never any other Let's Blends. He's never really made ever a follow-up. Yeah, you've got his time-lapse of when he built that medieval town square veg stall. But other than that, not too much. No, by the way, if you can hear anything in my voice, it's because one of the main reasons I'm doing this is just to get my voice working, giving my vocal cords a bit of exercise, which is a stupid reason I know to make a video, but because I've had a very, very bad cold over the last few days. I mean, I am very rarely off school for illness, because I place a very high value on education, but I was off for 3 days in a row. I mean, it was just, I've never felt so ill, to be honest. I think that's probably the worst illness I think I've ever had. I was pretty much bedridden for 3 days, barely breathing. So, whenever I say, if I was to say, you know, I was off from school for 3 days for a cold, they'll think, oh, that's nothing, but it was sort of, I don't know why it was, I think it might have been the flu, to be honest, which sounds worse than the cold, so that's what I think it probably would have been. I don't think a cold would have left me bedridden for 3 days. Now, we next have our latest video, which is the World Painter tutorial. Not our latest video, our next video. If it was our latest video, then we'd have gone back to the 8th of August 2013. It's not somewhere I ever want to go. Now, in this I did a World Painter tutorial, and this is a video I am legitimately proud of. It was my second attempt, and I think it turned out well. Other than the fact my voice was a lot higher than it is now, I mean, and my accent was different. I had a bit less of a bit less of the Yorkshire twang going on, the North East Lincolnshire twang.